Here it is again, back to bare metal. I've had to do little bits and pieces everywhere, just little lumps and bumps. Otherwise you're going to see them in the paintwork. So they're not all major repairs, they're all just little bits and pieces that need to be done to straighten everything out. The worst part was this area here, because the I think, as I've said before, the lead joint that they put in from the factory is a shocker. So they're all nice and flat now and got a bit of shape to it. The same as the lead joint in here and the lead in here. Had to cover up a little bit to make it nice and even. The boot, all the usual marks in the boot where people have been shoving their hands down on top of the boot. So that's all nice and flat now. And there was a bit of an imperfection in the top here where I welded some panels in, where I had to cut the rust out and weld the pieces in to suck the metal back a bit, so that straightened all that out. So should be good. That one's got just as much in it. That's actually got more in the bottom here because it had a bit of a weird shape in the bottom here, which I've changed a little bit. Luckily the roof is good, and there's only the little bits and pieces in the bonnet. So very shortly we're off to the friend's spray booth, and I'll probably set the camera up in the spray booth and you can watch squirting a bit of paint on. I'll be back when we're up there. Alright, the car's back now from the spray booth, and I haven't done a lot more to the car at the moment because I'm just letting it harden up, sink back, and then I'll block it and find out whether I need to put any more polyester onto it. It's only got 2 coats on at the moment. Hopefully it'll be enough, but I won't know until I start blocking it down. So in the meantime, I've been playing with the motor. So this is the motor all done and back. It's got standard pistons in it. It's been sleeved back to standard because it was on a 60 thou, so we had to go back to standard with the sleeve. So we've got standard pistons in it, flat tops. It's got a cam in it. The cam is only 1 step up, which is just a slightly better torque, a towing type cam I think they call it. That was suggested by the guy that did the engine for me. And new tappets. The head's been done. It's got new valves, new springs, and the seats are being cut and it's been decked underneath and tidied up. We'll put a new pump in it, JP pump. Everything else has been cleaned up, ready to go. So now it's just a matter of finding all the bolts for the motor, putting the motor together and putting some paint on it while I wait for the car to settle down, and then I'll get back into the car once I've painted the motor, I think. In the meantime, I've also been playing with the quarter windows. Now, there's one section on the quarter window which you need to paint, which is this one here. The trim colour, which is sandalwood. So I've done that, and then I've got the new rubbers out. I got a complete rubber kit from Rare Spares, and I've got the rubber kits out to have a bit of a look at them and realise that they're not all that easy to put in or get out for that matter. The rivet has to be taken out the middle for the pivot rivet here, but as well as that there's another rivet up the top here which they don't talk about, because they give you in the pack here a couple of rivets, the 4 fibre washers to put the tension on them down here, but just be aware that the washers they supply in that kit are nowhere near what they're meant to be. The washers are meant to have a 5/16 hole like that. These ones here have got a 3/8 hole in them, which means they're not going to work. So when you're pulling your windows apart, don't throw your original washers away, because they're going to work better than the ones that they supply in the kit. It's a little bit of fun and games to get it in there, and as well as that, the rubber they supply, this is the new rubber here, but the rubber they supply doesn't actually have 2 holes at the top here for the rivet to go in as well as the screw. That's the original one there with the 2 holes in the top, and the one they replace it with, it's only got the 1 hole in the top. So I'm yet to find out how that's all going to go together. That could be a bit of a fiddle, so that should be a bit of fun and games. Apart from that, not very much more. I'll probably just show you in the next episode what's happening with the motor ahead, and I'll let you know when I've done a little bit more. Bye for now. I thought I'd just better add this little bit, because the other day I mentioned that there wasn't a hole in the rubber that Rare Spares supplies for the second hole for the rivet. As it turns out, there is a second hole there. You can see where the second hole is meant to be, which is the one at the bottom under the screw head. That screw is only temporary there to hold it all together. It turns out the second hole was actually covered with rubber, and you just couldn't see it. So when I poked around a bit, I discovered the rubber was in there. Everything else went together okay. Also the rivet they supply in the kit, once it's peened over nicely on the back and smooth, that's fine. And I reused the fibre washers in there because the other ones were far too big. Otherwise everything else went alright. The stainless clips back on there okay after you paint the trim colour on the window. And with a bit of luck it should be soundproof now, I hope, because it was horrible before because the rubbers were buggered. The little rivets I found at Bunnings, which are just a tiny little packet like that. It's a nice flat rivet. You have to turn the head down a little bit in the lathe, chop the back off it, stick it in the hole and peen it over from this side of it. And that's a nice flat area because you've got the rubber that sits down inside there. You can't have anything too big for the rubber to sit over. So you can get a packet of those in Bunnings for bugger all for a couple of dollars, and that'll do for that rivet on the top. Otherwise, everything else is alright. I'll catch you later. Hi everybody, back again. Not a lot's been happening the last couple of weeks, apart from the motor and bits and pieces. So I'll show you what we got up to. For a start, we've got the motor together. So that's all holding orange now. It's only just been painted today, so I have to check it tomorrow in the sun, make sure it's okay. The everything went together okay with that one. The other part that we got sorted out was the tail shaft. The yoke had a bit of a mark around the edge of it where the seal is in the gearbox, so I bought a new yoke, and I bought the universals front and rear as well, so that's all new. The other things I've been doing is doing a bit of plating. I wanted to tidy that up a little bit, so I plated the little bits and pieces on that with the zinc plating with the gold, and that's not a reconditioned one, that's just been tidied up, so it looks okay. It was working okay. In the car, so it cleaned up quite well. No problems with that one. The other thing I've been doing is there's a couple of days worth of buffing there with all the stainless steel. The more difficult ones were around the windows, the stainless steel that goes in the rubber. They're a bit difficult. You get a few lumps and bumps in those that you can't get out because it's a double layer of stainless steel, and it's really difficult to get the stone bumps out of it. So I've just polished it up as much as I can, and it looks clean and tidy. So they're all finished now. I'll put them all aside and wait till we get the car painted. The other thing I got just today was I bought another set of wheels. They're the original ones, the standard hubcaps, which I've still got the 4 good ones, but I bought these to go a little bit of so we can go touring and stay overnight places without worrying about having the hubcaps knocked off. So that's from Fusion Alloy. They look quite nice. They've got a black sticker in the middle, the same as the original for the HG. I think the red was in the HT. So that's another thing we got sorted out. And that's about all for now. I might put this one up online with a few bits and pieces. I did actually paint that cover on there as well. I don't know why, but for some reason they made it a brown rusty sort of a colour, and it was pretty well the same as the tail shaft, but I think the tail shaft's brown because it's colour coded for the particular ratio or the diff or something. So that was brown, so we've got another coat of brown there. I've got a coat of brown inside there as well, and tidied those up and just put some zinc on those screws. And that will be about it. So I'll put this up online, I think. I've got a few bits and pieces there, and we'll see how we go with the rest of it. See you for now.